As you lie on your backs, if it feels more comfortable to have your feet down with your knees to the sky, you can do that. Or you can have your legs all the way long. Tank is down here with us tonight, so I'll have him to keep us company. And on your back, however you are, just find that natural breath. Just your own breath that's particular to you, breathing in and out. And then perhaps slowly beginning a 3-part breath if it feels comfortable. And our 3-part breath might be on the inhale, we fill the stomach and then feel the chest rise and feel the highest part of our chest near the collarbones lift. And then we exhale, maybe the collarbones go down first, then the chest, then the stomach. Inhale to fill the stomach, the chest, and the base of the neck near the collarbone. And exhale in 3 parts, if you can. Just breathing in 3 parts. Exhaling. Feeling the entire torso fill with breath. Maybe your next inhale, you feel your side body expand. Just continue with your breath. Maybe you fall into a natural, effortless breath. Maybe you continue with our 3-part breath. We call it our Dirga breath. I'm going to share what I was mentioning about the new moon. And Lena from the Power Path for Shamanic Healing out in Santa Fe, New Mexico. She has beautiful writings every month, and she said this about the new moon. This new moon challenges us to get organized with our thoughts and intentions. It challenges us to confront our lethargy, addictions, and internal ambivalence. It challenges us to focus on clear, practical communication and to take responsibility for the details of our lives. And this is where it's like a big whoa. She says, we can no longer use the excuse of the external chaos of the unknown to indulge in avoidance, laziness, discouragement, and martyrdom. I'm going to read that again. We can no longer use the excuse of the external chaos of the unknown to indulge in avoidance, laziness, discouragement, and martyrdom. It's time to get ready for the slow but steady crawling out from under intense change, and to use the energy for solid transformation as the momentum builds. She has more to say that I'll read throughout our practice, but with what she said there, let's just wrap that in kindness. Add that kindness and support underneath it to lift us up rather than to make us feel guilty or ashamed if maybe we've been handling things in one of the ways that she says that we no longer can or should. So allow our practice tonight with the support of this new moon to clear us of what we can let go of and to bring in what's going to propel us forward. So again, there's no judgment and there's no harshness involved. We're going to be kind to ourselves. So we challenge to get organized with our thoughts and intentions. The new moon challenges us to confront our lethargy, addictions, and internal ambivalence. It challenges us to focus on clear, practical communication and to take responsibility for details of our lives. So we'll use our yin yoga practice for solid transformation, this momentum of the new moon. So when you're ready, let's come up off the floor and we're going to go right into Uttanasana, which is just a hanging fold. So this is not very yin compared to our other poses that we often do, but sometimes in our yang practice, this is nice and maybe relaxing compared to some other poses in our vinyasa classes. Let's use this to ground through our feet and lengthen that spine. I'll just be here for about a minute or so. Let the head be heavy. I'm going to read that real blistering statement again when she says, we can no longer use the excuse of the external chaos of the unknown to indulge in avoidance, laziness, discouragement, and martyrdom. It is time to get ready for the slow but steady crawling out from under intense change. So we're going to do that in the spirit of kindness and compassion for ourselves, for others. Let's hold ourselves in a womb of love and support here with each other, and then when we leave tonight, just a couple more breaths. And we'll exhale. Let's come down to the floor. Maybe shake the hips side to side, stretch out the legs to the back if that feels good. And then our first shape tonight, we're going to do one side of the body and then the next side of the body. So let's come into our deer pose, which is easily done if we think of our 90-90. So our back ankle may be in line with the knee, and then our front leg at an bent, so our knee and ankle are in line. If that feels good, that's what we can come into, and we can fold over, maybe noticing it in the glute of that leg that we're closest to fold over. And if that doesn't feel good, you can extend that back leg long. Sometimes I like to do that. And if you don't really feel it in that glute or the outer hip, and I know some of you are really fond of our shoelace, so stack that right knee on top of the left. And you can lean forward if you want. So we can stack our knees and lean forward. We can have our ankle in line with knee and the leg back and fold over the leg. Whichever way supports you and finding some relaxation as we kind of zone in on that glute, the outer hip. Find that surrender. These first couple poses, let us settle in, relax, and remember that we're supporting our practice and our intentions with that love and self-compassion. Maybe finding a couple breaths to really relax into the shape. Breathing in and out. Letting the breath go as effortlessly as we can and breathing it in with as little effort as we can. If the mind is wandering, perhaps bringing it back to the image of the night sky where that moon is not there. That new moon sky. Our new moon is the perfect time to plant. Imagine just planting with the support of the energy of the moon. These intentions that Lena writes about, that we can organize, communicate, and take responsibility for. One more minute here. So with that in mind, be savoring the last few breaths. Notice if you're really ready to leave this shape or if you really wish you could stay in it for the rest of the night. Just be with however you feel. Just trusting that the shape is doing all the work and we don't need to try or do anything more than just surrender to it, which is easier said than done sometimes. So let's breathe in, exhale, sigh. Another breath in, let it go. A final breath, exhale. Now let's unwind the legs wherever they are, if we're in our deer or this shoelace, and move on to our backs. Feeling that rebound, maybe noticing how one leg feels compared to the other. And finding complete surrender in our rebound. Let's begin to roll over and make our way back up to a seated position. So our next area is the top of our legs, so our quads. So one shape that works well for me that I'm going to offer is the same. It's like deer, but we're going to recline back. So bring the legs into deer, so the ankle may be in line with the knee, knees in line. And I like to recline back and stretch out that quad muscle. So whichever leg you're going to stretch, whichever leg you just did. The other way is if we're working on our right leg, first bend that right knee. The left leg can be long. Maybe you have a cushion or a bolster behind you that you can kind of rest on. But you can recline back and stretch out that right quad. So whichever way works for you. And it's okay if that leg is up as long as there's not any pain on that knee. Offering a little opening in the front of the leg. You might find that you have your left leg out long and then you come to bend it, because that might be more relaxing. So find what feels best for you. Maybe you start kind of on a bolster or a pillow, and then you slowly begin to remove them as your back comes closer to the floor. Let the breath take you into more surrender and more relaxation in the shape. This new moon encourages us to keep our tasks practical and grounded, to keep going, to keep putting one foot in front of the other no matter what. There is an element of perseverance to this time. This new moon is very much like a no-nonsense new moon, it feels like. And so that's why we're going to remind ourselves, because I know that all of us here are really driven. And so we're reminding ourselves with this energy and with these words of wisdom about the energy of the moon, we're going to wrap that in self-compassion. And support ourselves with kindness around this energy. Allowing this energy to support us in transformation as we put one foot in front of another. Noticing if we have any resistance in our body, maybe we're clenching our torso, maybe clenching our glutes or a foot. And we might notice that we come lower to the ground. We might also want to come up off the ground a little more. It's not so much about feeling more, it's about surrendering and finding that relaxation. Be here for one more minute. Maybe being really mindful with our breath for the remainder of our time. With this knee bent, this bent leg for the quad stretch, it's that stomach meridian that we're activating. And that's what supports us in getting nourishment out of our experiences. So it's a beautiful little marriage with the energy of the moon to have this nourishment from what we've been experiencing, to couple that with the ability to transform. Now let's gently maybe lift up just enough so we can straighten out our legs. And then find the rebound that's going to support you. So maybe that means bringing the right knee or leg out to the side, or maybe just coming right flat on the back. Maybe the legs go to the sky for your rebound. Allowing that chi to flow. Yeah. Nice job, guys. Now a couple more breaths in our rebound. If your legs are suspended high, we can bring them down. And let's just roll over onto our stomach. We're going to come into our Sphinx. So just a little bit of compression on our low back. So if you want, you can have your elbows underneath your shoulders and just lift the heart. You can bring your feet really wide apart, or they can be close together. Just notice how, maybe try both and see how it feels on the low back. Your other option is if you want to come into your supported bridge, which can roll back onto your back, slide that block just under the sacrum. Tank's in the way, but it's right, the block's right under the sacrum. And you can extend those legs long and get a little compression on that low back. If you're on your stomach and you're in Sphinx and you don't feel as much as maybe you want, you can straighten your arms nice and straight and get a little more compression on the low back, knowing that more isn't better, that we're not aiming for more, but just see how you feel in either shape. We're just breathing. You might notice this along the front of the body. Abdominals opening. This new moon encourages us to continue practicing flexibility, resilience, gratitude, and the ability to trust the timing and the right end result. So even though she says that we can no longer blame external chaos and that we can take responsibility, she says that we can continue with flexibility and continue trusting. This has been such a season of trust for many of us. So continue trusting. Just a couple more breaths here. Now, if you're in your supported bridge, gently lift the hips, slide the block out from under. You're in Sphinx or Seal, lower down. And now maybe we want to come into child's pose. Maybe we want to hug our knees into our chest for our rebound. One more breath in. And let's let out a deep sigh with the exhale. And we'll slowly make our way back up to our seated position. And continuing with that right leg, we're going to send our right leg long and our left leg in, so the foot's on the inside of the thigh. And then we'll just fold over that right leg. We'll be noticing a stretch in the hamstring behind the knee and maybe the spine along the whole back. And if you don't feel anything there, then maybe you want to bring that left leg out to the side so the foot is behind you and you can lean forward. And if you still don't feel anything, then maybe just bring both feet forward and come into our caterpillar. Sometimes that is a for sure on the back of the leg. Now here we're just going to melt into that self-compassion and that self-love that is the undercurrent for all of this new moon energy. More that sometimes in our yin yoga we might start the shape, feeling it in one area. And then as that begins to loosen, the fascia begins to get that moisture that is so precious to helping us relieve pain and enhance our movement. We might notice it in a different location. Just being open. A couple more breaths wherever you're at. And then whenever you're ready, come into your rebound. So not waiting for me, but just coming on your own. Maybe you want to stay here for a few more breaths. Maybe you're ready right now. Sometimes I think of the rebound as a really tender moment to give ourselves permission to just be. It's a little break and rest. We just be. Now maybe you want to pause here for a few more breaths. So when you're ready, we'll come up to our seat again and we're going to begin to just rewind. So we're going to do our other leg now. So we'll start with our hamstrings this time. So we'll bring that right foot in, the left leg out long. And maybe you were in caterpillar last time, so you can come right back to caterpillar if you want. Maybe you want to try with the left leg out this time. Knowing that what you did on the right side, you can do differently on the left. So maybe you have your right foot in, or you can have that right leg back. You can lean forward over the left leg. Just leaning over that left leg to feel that stretch in the back of it. Maybe feeling it more in the back on this side. The most important lessons during this time are the ones that show you clearly what you do not want to dream up or manifest. Take an inventory of what has not worked for you in the past, what you are complete with in your life, and give it all over to the West, she says. So whatever is a higher being to you, give it all over to the higher being with great gratitude for being part of your container up until now. So we can have gratitude for what has come before, what we've experienced. And then as we feel into and lean into what we are complete with, we can let go of what we just want to let go of. So we can lean into that completeness right now. Lean into our own wholeness right now. Breathing into the stretch, shedding light and clarity on our own strength of who we are. Just peeling back the layers as we discover our highest self. A couple more breaths here on this side. With this leg outstretched, that liver meridian that runs along the inside of the leg, that's our creativity. So as we lean into what makes us whole, this extended leg is opening optimal creativity. How cool is that? When you're ready, come back into rebound, whether you're lying down or your legs are up the wall or up the sky, we should say. Find that tender surrender. Maybe noticing how this other side feels now as we begin to open up and stretch our other side. Now rolling over, whenever you're ready to come out of your rebound, there's no rush. If you're really enjoying where you're at, stay there. And as we come up, we'll find our reclined deer or half saddle on the other side. So this is our quad stretch for our left leg. So maybe that left leg is in front and the right leg is back. Maybe the ankle and knee are in line, or maybe you have the left foot in. But we're going to recline back. I almost reclined forward. We're going to recline back. Now the option, if you don't want to come into that reclined deer, is to have the right leg out and the left foot back. So this is kind of known in the track world, stretching world, as hurdler stretch. So you can lean back. Or we can always have that reclined deer with both legs kind of bent and leaning back, moving so whichever way. Sometimes I feel it better on one side with the leg out a certain way. So that left top of the leg. So this is that stomach meridian on the other side. Anytime that knee is bent back. So this is where we can bring that gratitude for our previous experiences. And let this stomach digest those experiences. Support us in leaning into what is really supportive. Sometimes I come onto my forearms, but if I get too tired, then I'll bring maybe a block or a pillow behind me. Just breathing into the shape, breathing into the surrender, and breathing into our past experiences, letting them sift through our energetic field. And off into the ethers, which no longer serves us. Into that heart space that we can hang on to and move forward. Let's slowly count it down from 3 to 0. And when you get to 0, finding that rebound. Maybe noticing if the breath begins to slow. The rise and fall of the chest becoming a little slower. And then let's roll over, coming into our last shape. And so we'll try to access that glute stretch on the left side. So we can bring the left leg in front and bending it at the knee. That right leg can be behind us. We can fold over that front leg. You feel it maybe in that outer hip or the glutes. If not, we can find that shoelace pose where we have the right knee under this time and the left knee stacked on top. And if you still don't really feel anything, then another option would be to come onto your back and bring that left leg, that left ankle below that right knee, coming into our threading the needle. As we feel that outer hip stretch, or those glutes, that's where that gallbladder meridian runs through. So that's the part that helps us make decisions. Sometimes if it's deficient, we might have some indecisiveness or be really passive. If it's too much, there might be some impulsivity. If it's in balance, it's that right Goldilocks amount of decisiveness. So this new moon energy supports that. As we look at the little things and details of our lives. Just let it all go as we surrender in this final shape before Shavasana. Try to find as much relaxation here as you can, even though we're getting that stretch. Allowing yourself to really feel whatever might be coming up emotionally right now or mentally. Allow the wisdom body, that Vijnanamaya kosha, to sort it out. Allow the Annamaya kosha, the physical part, to feel. And allow the bliss body, our Anandamaya kosha, allow the bliss body to be here to remind us that we are pure light and peace. Now, whenever you're ready, just gently unwinding, untangling, undoing wherever you are and coming into Shavasana. And just like the chi is being released from the floodgates, just allow any emotions or thoughts to also just release. And the support of each other's energy and support of the moon. And being held with this self-compassion that we laid out at the beginning of class. Feel yourself surrounded in love as we lean into our wholeness and completeness. And then softly and in stillness, relax more and more, gently closing the eyes, relaxing the palms of the throat. Let those backs of the legs just melt. And allow for the subtle transformation from the energy of this moon that we can't even see in the sky. So much like this energy that we can't even see, but it's there and it's real. Just be. Just be. With each breath, just letting go whatever we can prune off and becoming more and more whole. And it's not because of any effort, but it's because the energy around us is supportive of it. Because we establish that intention for ourselves. Let's begin to slowly make our way to a seat. And emphasis on the word slowly. So rolling over to one side, slowly. Then slowly coming up to a seat. And when you find your seat, let's find our Nadi Shodhana pranayama. We can balance the lunar and solar energy in our own system. So maybe the left hand is out in our chin mudra, and our right hand can have our index and middle on that third eye, or they can be folded in. We'll breathe in through the right nostril first. So let's exhale. And close the left, and we'll inhale on the right for 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Close right, exhale left for 5, 4, 3, 2. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right for 5, 4. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Inhale left. Close left, let's exhale right. And we'll slowly bring that right hand down unless you want to continue for a couple more rounds. We look up into the sky, we don't see a moon tonight, maybe tomorrow. And it slowly begins to bring a sliver and then a little bit bigger sliver till eventually we have a full moon staring back at us. Can we just remember that that too is our transformation? We don't see it. We don't see it, and slowly it's revealing itself. And it fills the entire sky. Remembering we cultivate self-compassion, self-love. Bring our hands to prayer and we'll chant our Om Namah Shivaya maybe 2 times. Our chant for transformation. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shanti. 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 Om